Hello and welcome to another whistle top tour of another iGCSE topic. This time we're doing fractions. Key things we're looking at are the kind of fraction calculation questions. So adding fractions, multiplying fractions, dividing fractions. And then we'll have a quick look at changing a percentage into a fraction and how to calculate a percentage of an amount. I've kind of done this in the wrong order. The last two are probably the easiest, but they'll make a nice, simple way to end the video, I guess. Now, because we are doing iGCSE maths and you have a calculator on both papers, this means that a fraction question won't be a straightforward calculate this fraction, add that fraction, because you could type that into your calculator and get the answer. So the way they'll word the question will be show that 2/3 add 4/7 is equal to 1 and 5/21. This means you have to show the working out. That is what you are getting the marks for. They've told you the answer. You're not getting any marks for getting the correct answer. They've told you what it is. You'll get a marks for showing your working out and showing the steps to calculate this if you didn't have a calculator. So adding and subtracting fractions, the denominator needs to be the same. So the first thing we need to do is find a common multiple of 3 and 7. So the lowest common multiple of 3 and 7 is 21. So I'm going to change both of these fractions so that they are over 21 instead of over 3 and over 7. Once they're the same, then we can add them together. So to change 3 into 21, I'm multiplying by 7. And then our golden rule with fractions, whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top to make it equivalent. So we have to multiply the top by 7 as well. The second fraction, we've got 7 on the denominator, so we're multiplying that by 3 to make it 21. And again, we have to multiply the top by the same to ensure the fractions stay equivalent. So 2 times 7 gives us 14. 3 times 7 is 21, which was the point. And then 4 times 3 on the second fraction is 12. 7 times 3 is 21. Now we can add them up, remembering that the denominator stays the same. So I've got 14 add 12 gives me 26 over 21. And it's starting to look a little bit like the answer they've been given. The only difference is this is an improper fraction. The top is bigger than the bottom. The numerator is bigger than the denominator. So we need to change it to a mixed number in order for it to look like the answer they've given us. So to do that, we say 21 goes into 26 once with a remainder of 5/21. We don't need to explicitly state that that's what we're doing. Where you get the marks here is showing that you have made the denominator the same. Where's the pointer? Here. So showing that we've made the denominator the same by multiplying the top and bottom. So that you have to get 14/21 and 12/21. Showing that you're adding them together. And as long as this answer is correct, then we just need to put that equal to the mixed number that they've given us. You might want to check that in your head to make sure you have got it correct. So 21 goes into 26 once with a remainder of 5. So once is the whole number and 5 is the numerator of the fraction. So you might want to just double check you've got that correct by doing the calculation. But there's no need for any kind of explicit working out between these two steps. As long as this is correct, we know that it's equal to that. Okay? So that's adding. Obviously, we do the same for subtraction, except when we get to this point, we would take away instead of add, but the method is the same. We need to make the denominator the same, then we can subtract and then check if it needs to be changed into an improper fraction. Multiplying is the easiest one, always the easiest one. The key thing that you have to do when you're multiplying is show that you have simplified the answer. So there's no mixed numbers, there's nothing to do other than to multiply the fractions together. To do that, we do 4 times 15. So multiplying fractions, we multiply the top together, multiply the bottom together, and that gives us our answer. So 4 times 15 is 60. 5 times 16 is 80, so that gives us 60 over 80, which we can simplify to get 3 over 4. To do that, we have divided top and bottom by 20. Again, your calculator will do that for you. If you type in 60 over 80 as a fraction and press equals, your calculator will automatically simplify the fraction for you. But you do need to show that you're doing some kind of simplifying in the exam to get all of the marks. This would maybe only be worth 2 because there's not an awful lot going on. The one above it would probably be 3. Now the next one, dividing, will be worth a few more because we're starting off with mixed numbers. So when you see mixed numbers in the question, your instinct should be to change them back into improper fractions. To do that, we take the whole number, which is in this case 4, we multiply it by the denominator, so 4 times 5 is 20, and then we add on the numerator, so 21. So 4 and 1/5 becomes 21. The denominator stays the same, so that stays a 5. So 4 and 1/5 is the same as 21 over 5. Then we're going to divide by, so do the same for the second fraction or the second mixed number. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 add 7 is 23, so that becomes 23 over 8. And now we can start dividing. Now to divide fractions, we are essentially multiplying by the reciprocal. Or an easier way of remembering that is KFC. So we keep the first fraction the same, we flip the second fraction over, and we change our divide into a multiply. And that makes it a lot easier to work with. So 21 over 5 stays as it is, divide becomes multiply, and we flip the last fraction, becomes 8 over 23. Now we can multiply the same as we did before, so 21 times 8 is 168. 5 times 23 is 115. Starting to look a bit like this because we've now got the correct denominator. The last thing we need to do is change it to a mixed fraction. 115 goes into 168 once, so that's our whole number, with a remainder of 53, and the denominator is 115. So there's a bit more going on there. So you have to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then you have to KFC, you have to keep flip change. And then you have to actually multiply the fractions and simplify your answer. So there's kind of like 4 steps there. It's still usually only worth about 3 marks. Fraction questions aren't usually worth any more than that. So even though there's a fair bit of working out going on there, and there's a lot of working out you need to show to get all of the marks, yeah, it's not usually worth any more than 3. But yeah, we've got 2 more questions to go through. These ones are the most simple. I'm not really sure why I put them last, but never mind. We've got write 72 as a fraction in its simplest form. 72% as a fraction in its simplest form. Percent literally translates to out of 100. So we can write that as a fraction over 100 first, and then we can simplify it. Now again, calculator exam, so if you type 72 over 100 into your calculator and press equals, your calculator will automatically simplify it for you. It becomes 18 over 25. If you want to look at how you've done that explicitly, we've divided the top and the bottom by 4. But yeah, your calculator will do that for you. But that's the answer, 18 over 25. So percentage, always put it over 100 and then simplify where you can. The last one, calculate 5/7 of 49. Again, you're in a privileged position because you have a calculator. Of always means times. So in your calculator, you can put 5 over 7 multiplied by 49. That is enough for your working out. Type that into your calculator and it gives you 35. You should all have proper scientific calculators where typing a fraction in is really easy, and your calculator screen will literally look like that. If it doesn't, get a decent scientific calculator. It will make your life so much easier. It will, like I say, simplify fractions for you. You can type them into your calculations. yeah, it just makes your life so much easier. But that's it for fractions. Again, really quick, kind of the basic skills you need to use. There's all kinds of other questions they could ask about fractions. Those kind of longer questions where they'll say like, such and such made cakes for a bake sale. She sold this fraction of them at this price, and then she reduced the remaining one. How much did she pay altogether? Or how much money did she raise altogether? They put fractions in them. The actual fraction skills you need aren't any more difficult than this, literally. But they put it into a longer question and it tends to freak you out and you can't answer it. But there's nothing more difficult than working out a fraction on your calculator. The actual maths in there, the actual maths you're doing isn't that difficult. The problem is unpacking it and working out what exactly step by step you're being asked to do. Okay, but the actual maths of it all, it's not that hard. You can definitely work it out. But yeah, that's everything. I hope it helps. Now do some exam questions, see if you can use these skills in them, and have a great day.